What's up, guys?
Can you see us? Can you see us? What's happening, everyone? I'm gonna try to sneak in over here. Time for another session of malt reviews. We keep talking about how we're Springbank collectors and old Springbanks and this and that. And in our previous review, we showed that talked about being Samaroli collectors as well. And I know a lot of you guys have asked us to show our collection of all our whiskeys. It's very difficult to do in one video, but we're kind of going to do it through multiple videos by showing some legendary bottlings. So it'll take some time, but you guys will get to see a lot of it. And we are big Springbank collectors. Springbank is our favorite distillery. And here we have an example of 5 bottles, all of them open, by the way. Collectors, drinkers, not collectors to keep. So we're true drinkers, and these bottles are not cheap that we're showing you here. So that's why I bring that up. A lot of people will just hold on to these and not open them. But these are all old versions. I think all of them released in the 1990s, correct?
Yeah. All
of them released in the 1990s, and all of them are Springbank 12-year-old 100 proofs. And they are, if not all of them, I think all of them are known for having some much older whiskey in there. It says 12 years old, but there is underproof older whiskey. So let's say you put a 35-year-old whiskey that's 37% ABV. So instead of using water to bring it down to a certain ABV, so let's say you're bringing it down to 50%, instead of adding water to bring it down to 50%, you use, let's say, a 35-year-old whiskey to bring it down. Imagine that. So using really old whiskey to bring down the ABV, and that's what these are known for. There's no proof of that, but that's what the legend says, and if you ever try one, nose and taste, you'll kind of know that it does not taste like a 12-year-old whiskey.
No.
So we're only going to review one of these today. Just wanted to show you all the ones we have open. This one right here is a European release, Italy to be exact, but a European release, and it's a 57% version. There's a couple different versions. There's European releases, there's US releases, both 50% and 57%. So this is a 57% European release. This is the USA. Let me just make sure I'm holding the right one. Is this the US?
No, Italy.
Oh, okay, my bad. This
Italy.
is also European release, a very dark release of 50%, European as well. This is a US release, known to be, in the US, there's known to be a single dark, 50%, and a double dark, 50%. So this is the single dark 50% release, and this is the double dark 50% release. So 57% ABV European, 50% European, and then this one is US, and so is this one. Both of them are 50%, but different versions. One of them has more bourbon cask influence and sherry, and this one has more just raw sherry. And then lastly, we have one of the most legendary whiskeys to ever have been bottled. It's the Samaroli release, Springbank 12-year-old, 100% by Samaroli. And this one is 57.1%. So anyways, want to show you guys part of our Springbank collection. Obviously, I'm only showing you the old 1990s 12-year-old releases, and we're going to review one of them right now. So I'm going to put some of these aside so you guys can see us. I'll put this one over there. All right, what we're going to review, it's actually the first one we bought. We don't have much left, so we want to make sure we review it before it completely runs out. This is Springbank 12-year-old, 100 proof, 57%. And I can almost assure you that it's not just a 12-year-old whiskey. It's got much older whiskeys in there.
Yeah.
And yeah, without further ado, the color. So you guys could see there's nice sherry influence in here. It's got a nice amber-ish color.
Yeah, almost like reddish amber.
And once again, we're using a very nice Lalique crystal glass. It's a very nice nosing glass, by the way, and very, very nice to drink out of as well.
Perfect.
This bottle, what's so unique about these bottlings is if you search them online, some will look a little lighter, some will look a little darker, and that's kind of where the legend kind of falls in. They were topping these bottles off with really, really old Springbank. They're all kind of a little different.
Tons of variations.
We've had many different variations of this, minis, samples, full bottles, and they've all just been a little different. Luckily, out of the 57% ones we've had, this one's been the best, and it's also been the darkest. And this one was released in the Italian market, and we did buy this from Italy. So you do find these in auctions. So I'm not gonna label it a museum piece because you can find it. They do pop up at auctions. So they're very expensive when they do pop up, around $3,000 now. So it's not cheap. You're not paying, you're paying for the collectability of it and a flavor profile that doesn't exist anymore. Yeah. And that's the main reason why we go for them. It's $3,000 now. I have no doubt it's going to eventually get to a point where it's $10,000 a bottle, just because it's just that legendary, and there's eventually not going to be many of them left.
Oh yeah.
All right, so a lot of talking there. Showed you a little bit of our Springbank collection there, and on the nose. This is so musky and like rusty. It's weird to use the word rusty, but it's got like this very sweet like mustard element to it. That like a rich yellow mustard, honey mustard, lots of honeys, and just kind of this mustard flavor that you've never experienced. If I say mustard and you put this on your nose, you'll know what I'm talking about, but it's different because the mustard is very candied, so that's what suggests honey mustard, right? That pops up right away. Along with that, it's just both loads of dried fruits, but also fresh fruits. Even like mango and papaya and like apricots and like peaches, and then you definitely have some of those dried fruits like raisins and sultanas and figs in there as well. It's even got like Indian spices, right? Like even like almost like curry. That's where that when I say rusty, that's where that comes from. It's that mustard, that funk, and then almost like curry element where it's like almost reminds you of Indian spices, and it's just like, oh, I said a lot. I'm gonna let Mike say some stuff. I'm just gonna keep nosing it for a minute.
It's nutty. Yeah, this is so typical of what we say, the Springbank honey mustard sherry vinaigrette. There's so much like candied, sugary, beautiful, vibrant, pungent honey mustard. Pungent, super quality, high-end mustard coming out of it, and then combines with cola, sherry, and vinaigrette qualities. And all in there is both luscious, juicy, tropical fruits, almost like from bourbon cask influence, like beautiful peaches, beautiful plums, apples, pears, mangoes even, combined with more like Macallan, I would say, or after dinner, sherry dried fruits. Like he said, raisins, sultanas, figs, dates, prunes. But it's the high end, it's the musk. It's like the danky muskiness of it that makes this so quality. And compared to when we opened this guy, 57%, the air that comes through is so mellowed this out, and this is a perfect drinking strength now. It's remarkable.
I'm even getting like coconut and like banana, like bananas cooked with butter and add a little sugar, and it's just like You're cooking that banana, turning into a dessert.
Like Bananas Foster.
Bananas Foster.
Springbank Bananas
Exactly.
Foster.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
It sounds so weird because we're like going all over the place. You're talking about mustard. You're talking about Indian curry, and you're talking about fruits, fresh fruits, dried fruits, and he's talking about vinaigrette and like just like going all over the place like you're lost. And that's what it does. The whiskey you get lost. It's so complex, insanely complex. And it's confusing. Is it like first fill sherry, second fill sherry, and third fill sherry, along with like some second fill like bourbon, touch of that? Like it's almost like I can't figure out what the whiskey is in that sense either. Like because it's just so complex that you feel like it has everything. First fill, second fill, third fill, of mainly sherry and then some bourbon as well, right?
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
And a lot of it was from stories that we've read, we've heard from experts that have known the people involved, been there. There was so much batch variation of how they made these specific bottlings at the time that who knows what's in it. That's kind of the fun part for us to try and decipher. But yeah, definitely you think about it, it's like kind of like eating a dish. One flavor leads to another, like the mustard seed in this case. The mustard seed and the honey mustard is kind of the bridge to those Indian spices. And likewise, other flavors, just one leads to another. It's an ongoing evolution, ongoing adventure. But it's so complex.
It's absolutely
it goes around in circles.
Freaking insane. I'm even getting like Grand Marnier, kind of like an orange liqueur.
Oh yeah.
Oily, like orange oils and lemon oils and
crazy oily old school dark heavy rums, like dark super alcoholic heavy rums.
Absolutely. Demerara sugars. It's very sugary. It's everything. It's literally everything.
And then just juicy candied like freaking gummy bears, like just at the essence of the fruit.
In terms of peatiness, I'd like if a smack. A powerful Lefroy is a 10, and this one's a 1. You get it. It's just very, very, very much in the background, almost like you don't even get it, but it's there. It's kind of there in the background.
Yeah.
So it even has that smoky element to it as well.
It does.
A touch.
Does. Yeah, and it's more, and if anything, it's more on like the smoked like sweet meats, like smoked like almost like candied bacon, like very sweet candied bacon, candied pork, etc.
So complex. I think like almost anything I've ever said about other whiskeys, we said like in this whiskey, which is why you saw us have so many different of these bottles open. And as you guys know, they're not cheap, but we go after them because of this reason. They're just magical. They're truly magical. I think we're ready for the palate. We could probably keep going. We could keep nosing and talking forever, but I'm sure at some point you guys will tune out if we do that. So, on the palate.
And let me just say, a lot of those bottles that we showed, they're all different. Like not sure this is the best, but let's say this was one of the better ones. Where we buy other bottles like this, trying to find this quality, and they're all different. Not saying it's a different bad, but they're all so different. So this adventure keeps continuing for each bottle of Springbank. So in a way, you would think that not being consistent is a bad thing. It's actually an amazing thing. It adds to the legend of Springbank.
Palate?
Oh, yes.
All right. Oh, man.
Oh, my God.
What a blast of epic flavor. Oh, my God.
57%, baby.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. Holy shit. Oh, my God.
Very sweet honeys right off the bat. The mustard. Exactly. What's so cool is exactly what you and that's where it suggests that it's not like pure 40-year-old whiskey in here, right? Because exactly what you get on the nose, you get on the palate.
Yeah.
That doesn't normally happen when it's like only 40-year-old whiskey, right? And usually it changes quite a bit on the palate, but it's got loads of fresh fruit, rich dark honeys, that mustard element. Definitely that rum sugar, that demerara sugar coming through. It's very, very sweet. And that orange oil on the nose, where I was referring it to like a Grand Marnier, is more like sweet oranges right now, like candy orange on the palate. You're definitely getting some cola, some really, really yummy cola. And if you've ever had like cola candies, and you've obviously all tried drinking cola, but in a whiskey, it's so unique. It's so different when it's in a whiskey. Oh, yeah. That's there as well. Definitely getting a touch of that, the sultanas, and approaching that, the Indian spices, which is very, very unique in this whiskey. Just very complex on both the nose and palate. I'm going to add a drop of water in mine, being 57% for the reviewer. You want one?
Yeah, go for it. Yeah, so maybe that's the secret, is by not having it just be a certain age, and by having the ability to blend different ages. Maybe that's the secret to getting the palate to be so close to the nose, because this is dead on. The same complexity, it loses zero complexity from nose to palate. I'm getting everywhere and all just as strong, the same magnitude, from the exotic Indian spices all the way to the honey mustard, all the way to the exotic colas, dark, crazy, musky, lasting, long finish, like glue texture honeys. The most exquisite, dark, flavored honey you've ever had in your life. Along with all those dried fruits, juicy, tropical, fresh fruits, super candied.
Speaking of candied, nose it with 3 drops of water. I put 3 drops of water in each of our glass. It becomes so candied.
Oh my God.
It just becomes so the most gourmet German gummy bears you've ever had is just on the nose right now.
It's like you just put in like sugar syrup.
Yeah.
Wow.
And that's where it like kind of becomes like a rum, but rum sometimes are just like too sweet, right? A lot of times they're just very, very sweet. Not the best rums. The best rums are like whiskeys.
Rum,
the best of the best rums are more like whiskeys, but
that's what I was gonna say. It's like that when that dark honey leads to, with the alcohol added, like dark, beautiful rum, but the best kind of rum. Wow.
For you rum fans out there, if any of you are watching, I know there won't be many, but this is a Villiers import. As you can see the import right there. I know they import some of the best rums as well. One more sip on the palate with the addition of water. This does improve with 2-3 drops of water. It's amazing.
Mellows out a little.
It becomes even sweeter.
Yeah.
It's just that rusty, that...
So nutty.
You hear a lot of people say Springbank funk. And they have a right to say that. But never has that funk come out more than in this. Yeah. I almost don't want to... I want to use the word rusty instead of funk. That sweet mustard, the candy, and the Indian spice, and this stuff. Oh, it's epic.
Yeah, this is the essence of what some of our favorite whiskeys are all about. Favorite shared whiskeys are all about. That long-lasting, concentrated, never-ending, like funk, rust, musk, etc.
Yeah, it's
hard to explain.
It's a beast. Wow.
Legendary.
If you guys haven't watched some of our other Springbank reviews, they don't get a lot of views. And I know when we review whiskeys, older style collectible whiskeys, they don't get a lot of views. The whiskeys that get a lot of views would be like Mac 25, Macallan 18, Glengoyne 25. And those are the whiskeys that people are interested because they see them in the stores. So when we review old highly collectible legendary whiskeys, most people don't watch them because, to be fair, I guess, unless you're a serious whiskey collector, you might not even know what they are. So why watch it? But if you do watch this, we do have some really interesting some other interesting Springbank reviews that we've put out already. We did the local barleys, where we did the 3 of the 1966 local barleys cask, 441, 442, and 443. And then we also did the Millennium 30-year-old. So we have a couple out there. We're going to bring out a lot more. We're going to bring out a lot more Springbanks. And all the 12s that you saw, we'll slowly release those as well. Yeah, this is just crazy, crazy whiskey. I know we were approaching 20 minutes, so I don't want to keep going. I'm going to score this. You guys already know it's going to be a very high score, but for me, it's a 95 out of 100.
Bingo. 95 out of 100. And remember, that's comparing it to all the other legendary whiskeys that we've tried. So
yeah, no, it's insane.
Insane strong score.
Absolutely. So please click the subscribe button. Please comment. Let us know if you guys have questions. Bottles like this can only be acquired pretty much through auctions nowadays. You might see them pop up on this site like the Whiskey Exchange, but you'll probably pay close to double if you get it from a site like that. So the best place to get them is at auctions. And yeah, let us know if you guys have any questions. And we'll see you guys soon for another malt review. Cheers.
Cheers.